because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away. And I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down.
Consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injury.
Boxing analysts are highlighting a key flaw in Terence Crawford's latest training footage. Gareth, once confident Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez, has now shifted his stance. With the fight nearing, he favors Canelo, stressing that Crawford will encounter punches unlike anything he's faced before. This shift underscores rising doubts about Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo's power and prove himself at the sport's highest level.
Very close rounds in the first 3 or 4. We'll be divided on who's winning. I think Canelo will get going in the second third of the fight and land some big shots. I think Crawford will look good as well. Rounds 6 to 9, we'll be looking at who's getting ascendancy in the fight. Crawford will have weathered the storm of the big Canelo punches, countered himself, still close rounds. I think Canelo will push away and in my view will win the fight. Because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for, and I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down, and if he does go down, he'll get up. I think it'll be a very, very close affair, and I think even if in those last 6 rounds Crawford's got Canelo's number in terms of movement and timing, I still think if it's very close in rounds, I think it'll either be a draw or a narrow points decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez that everybody feels is very controversial, and then they'll do it again. That's how I see it playing, and that's the plot, if you like, with the subplots in the drama of one of the biggest fights we've seen in Vegas since.
Gennady Golovkin's trainer has issued a bold warning about Terence Crawford's move up in weight, predicting serious stamina concerns. He suggested Crawford could begin fading as early as the 4th round due to the drastic adjustments required when carrying extra muscle. According to him, the added size may slow Crawford's movement, drain his energy faster, and leave him vulnerable against a bigger opponent. Since Crawford has never competed at this weight before, the transition could prove overwhelming. Even the most technically skilled fighter can feel heavy and sluggish when fighting above their natural class. If Crawford fails to manage his pacing properly, he risks exhausting himself too soon and struggling to maintain control in the middle rounds.
Triple G's former trainer said that Crawford's gonna be quick in the first 4 rounds, but once Canelo figures him out and actually starts hitting Terence Crawford, in which Sanchez described as, quote, like a huge truck hitting him, it'll be game over for Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford may not have the legs for someone like Canelo in the 168-pound division. Sanchez also added that if Canelo was eventually going to be Crawford's endgame, then Crawford should have jumped weight divisions a while back. Now, Crawford could have technically done that after the Spence fight. However, his once-a-year fight schedule prevented that from happening.
Reports have emerged suggesting that Terence Crawford may be dealing with a shoulder issue during his preparations for the upcoming Canelo Alvarez showdown. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, even the hint of such an injury has raised alarm among fans and analysts. The concern stems from Crawford's usual career pattern, where he typically fights only once or twice a year. That slower rhythm has historically given him plenty of time to rest, recover, and sharpen his conditioning. This time, however, the quick turnaround has denied him that cushion, meaning any nagging pain could carry into fight night. In boxing, a shoulder problem is one of the most worrying setbacks a fighter can face. From generating punching speed and power to blocking shots and controlling range, nearly every aspect of performance depends on strong, healthy shoulders. Even a minor strain could reduce Crawford's snap on his punches, weakening the impact of his power shots and making it harder to keep Canelo honest. Mentally, the possibility of discomfort could cause hesitation in exchanges, preventing him from fully committing to combinations. Against a seasoned, heavy-handed fighter like Alvarez, hesitation is dangerous. Canelo's experience and pressure leave little margin for error, and Crawford would need to be at his absolute best to offset those advantages. If the shoulder problem is genuine, it transforms an already risky challenge into an even steeper uphill battle. Entering the ring anything less than 100% against Canelo could prove decisive, leaving Crawford vulnerable both physically and mentally on fight night.
Solitary training camp and in every single solitary fight, a guy that is as old as Terence Crawford, 37, 38 years old, is going to have some type of injuries. They're going to have some type of old, nagging type of stuff, especially a guy that works as ridiculously hard as Terence Crawford does. That was just a matter of time before wear and tear is going to start going and things are going to start popping off and going wrong, right? Also, you can tell that the reason that this is kind of consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries and gives his body time to heal up. And as a result, okay, he's ready to go during fight time. So I wouldn't put too much on this. I would say though that if you're a gambling person, man, you should probably want to keep your money in your pocket for this particular fight, man, because this thing can absolutely positively go either way with between the two of these guys. Canelo Alvarez is an exceptional fighter, much bigger than Terence Crawford is, or been fighting at a much bigger weight class than Terence Crawford's been fighting at, and much more experienced at that level at 168 pounds. But Terence Crawford is just such a superb fighter and such an intelligent fighter in there that you can know that he's going to be coming there to fight, and he's got a significant chance to win that fight, unless of course that injury is real. I mean, and it is significant and it's preventing him from, really sitting down on his punches, because he's going to have to at a point in time with Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something to get him up off of him.
Keith Thurman offered a grounded take on the looming clash, reminding fans that while Canelo Alvarez is not undefeated, he remains a highly dangerous opponent. Thurman noted that every fighter has flaws, but exploiting them against someone of Canelo's caliber is far from simple. He highlighted Canelo's vast experience, skill set, and toughness, which make him a challenge for anyone. Losses, Thurman argued, do not diminish Canelo's greatness. Instead, they have refined him into a more complete and resilient fighter. He cautioned that labeling Canelo as beatable does not guarantee Terence Crawford's victory. To succeed, Crawford must elevate his performance to a level he has never before reached against a man of Canelo's size and pedigree.
Unbeatable fighter. That's fine. None of us are really unbeatable, right? But people got to understand this. Canelo Alvarez is not an unbeatable fighter. The question is, whoever he's fighting, we don't question what Canelo's going to do, right? We question what his opponents are going to do, right? It's not even really about Canelo. Canelo's going to show up as Canelo Alvarez, right? Ginger boy. So the question is, are you going to beat him? And are you going to beat him today? Like when fight night happens, is it you? And is it now? You ready to beat him now? He's not unbeatable. Maybe you can beat him, but are you going to do it? And are you going to do it now? You feel me? Because I thought Danny Jacobs was going to have a way better performance.
Danny actually performed well against Canelo, but he didn't take any chances. He was doing just enough to not get beaten.
And Canelo was feeling himself. Canelo had preparation. He had that head movement, losing to Floyd, this and that. He fought some flat-footed fighters. He got used to getting his head here and there and ducking down and then pulling out and spinning out and little tactics. I've never seen somebody make Danny Jacobs miss so many punches. It was highly impressive. I did not expect that, because the amateur pedigree growing up with Danny Jacobs. I know exactly what kind of New York fighter he is.
Recent footage from the face-off between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has sparked heavy discussion among fans and analysts. To many people's surprise, Crawford looked noticeably larger than expected, appearing almost equal in size to Canelo. This stood out because Canelo has long been recognized for his compact, powerful frame in higher weight divisions. Crawford's bulked-up appearance has raised questions about how effectively he has managed the added mass. Some view it as a promising sign that he has successfully adjusted to the new weight, while others caution that size does not automatically translate to strength, stamina, or ring efficiency. The real challenge will be whether Crawford can carry the extra weight smoothly for 12 hard rounds without sacrificing his trademark speed and mobility.
With that said, they're going to face off in an epic showdown. And the big talk, obviously, is the size difference, right? That Canelo Alvarez is much bigger than the smaller Terence Bud Crawford, who is essentially coming up from 147 in the minds of many. But really and truly, he's coming up from 154 because he actually had a fight at 154, a title opportunity, his only fight at 154 last August when he took on Israel Madrimov, okay? And he beat Israel Madrimov, unanimous decision, to become a 4-division champion. But as you see here in this photo, there's not a big size difference. And actually, obviously, we know Terence Crawford stands at 5'8", he got a 74-inch arm reach. Canelo stands at 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach. There's not a massive size difference at all whatsoever. Now, clearly, as you see, Terence Crawford clearly has on what looks like Balenciaga shoes, and we know they are extremely big shoes, and they make you slightly taller. And Canelo Alvarez has on flats. The thing here is, the more important thing is, not if Terence Crawford can take Canelo Alvarez's punches. It's not if Terence Crawford, is going to get bullied around the ring. The concern with the weight is how Terence Crawford carries it himself. Does he start to fatigue in the second half of the fight? Should he get to the second half of the fight?
Timothy Bradley Jr., respected for both his decorated championship career and insightful commentary, has laid out a clear blueprint for how Terence Crawford should approach his highly anticipated clash with Canelo Alvarez. According to Bradley, Crawford's best chance at victory is to force the fight early rather than letting it develop at Canelo's pace. He explained that Canelo is a fighter who grows more dangerous as the rounds progress, gradually settling into rhythm, imposing his will, and taking control. For Crawford, allowing the fight to drag on would play directly into Canelo's strengths. Bradley emphasized that Crawford possesses the necessary tools, speed, precision, and exceptional ring IQ, to disrupt Canelo if he applies pressure in the opening rounds. By dictating the tempo early and taking calculated risks, Crawford could throw Canelo off balance and potentially establish control before the Mexican star gains momentum. Bradley also noted that the extra weight Crawford has added may become a liability later in the fight, draining energy and slowing his output. Because of this, he argued that conserving energy for the later rounds isn't a realistic plan. Instead, Crawford must lean into his natural explosiveness and sharp instincts, aiming to finish matters before fatigue and Canelo's experience take over.
Yeah, he can move a little bit, but yeah, he likes to come forward with that power. But you put him on his back foot, let me tell you similar too. Look, you know this guy named Usyk who put Fury on his back foot? Yeah, push the pace on him, yeah, with volume, feints. Put Canelo on his back foot, Crawford. That's what you gotta do. You gotta put him on his back foot. Hell to the damn yeah. That's how you get it done, man. That's one aspect that you're gonna have to do. And hey, I would advise you to do it as early as damn possible. Do it as early as possible, because guess what? If you do that, you're gonna get control right away of the judges, right? They're gonna be looking at you. You're gonna dictate the pace. You're gonna dictate the flow of the fight. You gotta have him react to you, not you reacting to him. That's how you gain control of the fight real quick, real soon. Get active with that jab. You don't necessarily have to come out in the southpaw stance. You can come out in the orthodox stance. You know, what's the punch that always hits Canelo all the time? Easy work, the jab. Triple G was able to land his jab over and over. Floyd Mayweather was able to land his jab over and over. Before was able to land his jab over and over. You control him, you push him back, you walk forward. Anytime Canelo give you an inch going back, you take that inch going forward. That's how you gonna get this done. You gonna have to be brave, my man, Crawford. You gonna have to be brave. You gonna have to be on your P's and Q's when you're walking forward as well, because he will snap back. He will snap back with them left hooks, right hands to the body, or looping right hands over the top, or even straight right hands. Sometimes he might even come with a two-piece combination. But you got to put him on his back foot as often as possible, man. With your how cerebral you are, with your feints, with your movement, snapping that jab.
Terence Crawford's sparring partner, Al Stanton, has provided an encouraging inside look that contrasts with many of the doubts surrounding the fight. Stanton revealed that Crawford has looked exceptionally strong in training, describing him as powerful, sharp, and fully capable of holding his own against bigger opponents. He emphasized that Crawford appears to be adapting well to the added weight, showing no visible struggles in adjusting to the demands of facing larger fighters. For fans worried about how the transition might affect him, Stanton's words offer reassurance. His perspective suggests that Crawford's natural athleticism, discipline, and relentless work ethic are allowing him to embrace the challenge without sacrificing his core identity in the ring. Intro 8. Former welterweight champion Shawn Porter has weighed in on Terence Crawford's move up in weight, praising the way he has handled the transition. Porter explained that Crawford did not rush into bulking up, but instead approached it gradually and strategically. First, he added about 10 pounds, then slowly gained another 10, giving his body the necessary time to adapt at each stage. According to Porter, this method is the smartest way to increase weight, as it prevents unnecessary strain and helps maintain natural performance. He also noted that Crawford is carrying the added mass evenly, without losing speed or mobility. For a fighter whose success depends heavily on sharpness and agility, maintaining that balance will be critical against a seasoned opponent like Canelo Alvarez.
Very good at kind of holding fighters, putting his weight on them. You're a big boy for 168, Al, so how did he manage and cope with that when you kind of picture Canelo doing that to him?
Nah, he's strong. That man is strong. He's strong. So I don't think he'll have a problem, you know what I'm saying, with that.
What do you think from your takeaways from that sparring is the key for Terence to defeat Canelo Alvarez?
Just use his skills. I think he has the better skills. And I'd say just box him. Just box him on that.
Given your experiences with him, and as you mentioned, you know, he's strong in those sparring sessions, you have no doubts then that when he's in there at 168, he'll feel fully fledged and capable of performing for those 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For 37 years old, like, he's training like he's like 25. Like, I don't think there'll be no problem at all with the fight.
What do you think he has to be mindful of that Canelo can produce? What do you think he has to be wary of in that fight?
Power. That's it. It's power.
So you saw him in camp as he was building and putting that weight on, and you said that you think he's doing it right. From what you saw then from training, do you think he's carrying the weight well then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I saw it in his legs, I could see it in his arms and his shoulders, and it's distributed evenly. You'll get a lot of guys who are bottom heavy. You know, they don't have much on the top half, so once you get to the inside, they don't have a lot that they can do with you from this standpoint. I know a lot of people are concerned with Canelo Alvarez. Should he get in close? What's the strength situation going to be like? Well, Crawford's put on the right muscle mass in the chest area, in the ab region, and in the arms and things of that nature. I think he's going to be able to handle the strength just fine.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis coming soon.